united front that is against all this, so that we achieve stability in a way that can bring about economic development. The essence of politics is to change our life for the better. So many people have argued that the worst political regime is better than the best military, which I completely disagreed with, not because elder statesman is seated here and I was close to him, but we should do all it takes to make politics responsible. Social welfare and inequality. If politics cannot redress inequality and bring about social well-being, then it is not politics at all. What is most difficult is democratization and political participation. Ideally, a state that is into 226 wards. If we take the feet in a funnel form from the smallest to the open space, we definitely will have political dialogue, political participation. Inter and intra-governmental relations. That is most important, both laterally and horizontally. We should think about it as we get to some of the points we might be raising with respect to Fintiri's tenure. Conflict resolution and peace building. That should be a hallmark of politics. As you shout, as you talk, at the back of your mind, you should do it for the first two and the most. For stability, for peace and security, for economic development. Infrastructure and urbanization. Why do we take urbanization as different? Perhaps by definition, all local government headquarters are urban. And I don't know who will fault making those centers habitable, easily accessible within and between. Something so close to my heart is environmental sustainability. All that we do or intend to do, we must make sure that we do it without compromising the future of the generations yet unborn. So the essence is to have this balance. To try and balance these diverse priorities, we must have very effective governance, strategic planning, and responsive leadership, without which we cannot drive development, without which the well-being of the population might be compromised. This is the essence of politics, and these are the key takeaways that we need to imbibe. Yes, we better bring all this together at a go. Stability, prosperity, inclusiveness. You see, when you build a bridge on any river, on any brook, that is a project. But when you are building that bridge in order to connect two communities, that is an aim and a drive, and that is why it is development. The 8-point agenda, which is an offshoot of the 11-point agenda, is streamlined. And indeed, when we were doing this, nobody ever imagined that we could have also given 8 imperatives as the quintessence of politics. We have seen all these, all of them, pictorially through the documentary. How are these related to the quintessence of politics? And I add a rider there. You have seen them. Which of them will you deny? Is there any? We don't need to go through them one after the other. But security. This is the only time you don't see him smiling when he talks about security. He engaged the federal agencies. They are the ones that are mainly in charge of security, even if he is the chief, the officer, chief security officer of the state. And please, all other agencies should excuse me because these are representative of both the hard and the soft security aspect of it. The documentary has made so well, giving the examples of tackling both in the bush and in town, the Sheila, and all those rustlers, smugglers, and kidnappers. Yes, it is God Almighty that we will be at peace and enjoy relative peace now. But a lot of hard work has gone into it, and we shouldn't compromise it, nor should we take it for granted. It is definitely not easy. Yes, examples continue, one at a time. Education. This is one area that is non-discriminatory. If they pay school fees, if they pay for WAEC, for NECO, if they feed the pupils in school, that is, if you don't have a child, the governor should not be blamed. And if you are counting your blessings during his tenure, if you forgot that your child is in school and enjoying all this, then it's most unfortunate. So many schools have been renovated, put into use, and at least the children are happy. If my pointer would have behaved, I would have expanded this so that we see the kind of things they are saying. And then we are taking it to a greater height, at least in this state. These are the foundation laying ceremony and flag off of model schools in all local government areas of Adamawa State. You begin to wonder, where are the monies coming from? Yeah, we have seen what they said about internally generated revenue. Accountability and focused spending is what is responsible. Education and human capital. Again, this is a cross-media issue. If you talk about sports, if you talk about human resource, if you talk about health, if you talk about empowerment, everything is encapsulated in sports. And at least whatever he has declared that he will do, we have seen him do it. So we have no doubt that this Chelsea man is going to be very much interested in what happens. Maybe by the time he pulls up the gown, Chelsea may go up to the fourth or third position, I don't know. But I don't want to start that debate. I know some people that are always looking for the next season. Did you hear that? Yes, we have to move on because we have watched everything about the lecture. You see, this is not a visit to a company in Germany or anywhere else. Seeing is believing. If you don't want to believe this Pangeman, then you can't believe anything. Strategically, cottage hospitals have been strategically placed to arrest mass drift into Yola. Some of them have been arrested at Gire Cottage Hospital. Some in Dumne, they are not even allowed to come out of their cocoon. And I believe his royal father in Shelleng is contented with what is happening there, with respect to both roads and health. So what is it that we are asking for in politics? And what is the essence of politics, if not to give health and well-being of our people priority number one? Why are these my people? My pointer is not working well. Distance. Urban renewal. Yes, this is the major signature of this government. And indeed, for visionary people, for people that are working for the next 50 years and ahead, this is what we should be doing. Opening up our rural areas and then making mobility within the conglomeration of the emerging urban centers very decent. I remember one Facebook comment when this place was a mere very big crater. Somebody said the monumental historic roundabout have been destroyed. Somebody commented in Hausa, a very hilarious answer. One guy said, baka san margi bane kiwon kifi za a yi. Very interesting. So that kiwon kifi has translated into this, but yet we must also get to Borong. We must go to Bangi at all times. So the rural areas have been opened up. If you are in doubt, continue to criticize, but we'll advise you to be very cautious about it, because very soon, and we will stop some of these things that are going on, and we must stop them forcefully. So this is what we have seen in the documentary. I understand it is in today's Daily Trust. Isn't this beautiful? And many more are coming up. And I believe by the time this epitome of politics is through with his job, I'm only pitying those who are just willing to take over. If you are thinking of adding the fire service roundabout, I will not mention all, because I will frustrate some people, and I don't want people frustrated. So, agriculture and food security. You see, security has multidimensional perspectives. There is health security, to prevent infectious diseases, have easy access to Medicare and all that. It's about health security. But food security is the most important. And this government knows exactly how to go about it. And comprehensively too, because it takes the whole gamut of the agri sector. And very uninformed critics will tell you that we have taken a loan of 100 billion. We'll not be laughing at them, because by association, the fact that a professor and my sister is a deputy governor, even when I don't come to a government house for a month or two, I know what is happening. We have a telepathic way of communicating, and we know what government is doing and where government is heading to. And let's take this agriculture thing very seriously, intellectually and practically, because we like it or not, this thing is very real. Climate smart agriculture. We have all complained of the heat in Yola. So many people have died. Personally, I have attended not less than 20 funeral prayers in recent times. And the graveyard keeper reported over 600 bodies within a short span of, is part of it. Environmental degradation, climate change, and all associated. So there is a multidimensional and multi-pronged approach to agriculture that this government is taking to higher levels. Not because this partnership is with the Adamawa University, far from it. It is something that is global in nature. Social welfare. We know what Paweka is doing and will continue to do. And just continue asking, where are the monies coming from? But we continue telling you, the monies are being judiciously applied at all times. Networking is most important. Then akacheso duksone. Amason gidaya people? Okay. If you think, this is not me. This is about regional integration. It's about understanding the dynamics of collective action. A number of issues do not respect political boundaries. And we are talking about climate change, mobility, security, health. These are issues that are cross-border issues. And the governors of Northeast are networking and working hard to ensure that what is being done with respect to containing certain diseases in one state are also being done in another, so that there will be no spillover effect. Networking continues at the national level and internationally too. You are not informed. Continue. And Adamawa is progressing. And it will continue to work and work fine in the interest of everybody. What is happening? This guy is there. Yes. The writing may be too tiny, but the one on the left is Adamawa State in 2007. The other one is in 2024. In fact, the little vegetation you are seeing to the top center is because of abandonment of certain lands on account of insecurity. And that is why it is regenerating, or it regenerated a little. With attainment of peace and with this rainy season, be sure that a number of the greens there will go off. Just in 2007, look at Tombo side, through Jada, Ganye, site of Fufore, up to. This vegetation is no longer there. The other brown areas are completely bare. Regular people taking flight to Abuja, you know exactly what I mean. And indeed, we know that of recent, the governor went on a very hard drive to get issues related to climate change, environmental degradation addressed. And we have seen what is happening in the documentary with respect to promoting vegetation regrowth and all that. We really have to work hard. And perhaps when we come to some of the key issues, engage fundamentally some of our royal fathers. Yes, ethical issues. The hallmark of governance and politics is about justice and fairness. Who are those people controlling this thing? Yes, it's okay. Justice and fairness. How is it understood? We have seen the conglomeration, what Adamawa is made up of. For instance, if you call Ganye, what really comes to your mind? Is it the clement climate there? Lower temperatures than any other part of Adamawa? Or if I just simply say Ganye, you think of Gamwari? If I say Numan, don't think about conflict crisis. Think about water. Think about the savannah. Just like in the olden days, when you say Ganye, they will tell you sugarcane or doya. So, justice and fairness in the distribution of resources, including political appointments in Adamawa State of close to 100 ethnic groups. We shouldn't overblow issues of representation. And we'll look at political stereotyping and all that. Consultation and participation. It doesn't have to be with everybody. And there are very good critics that will never consult because they have been given it for free from a different part of the spectrum. We know how to digest it. We know how to filter it, but it is still very important. And it is still a form of consultation and feedback, of course. And then compassion and empathy. This is very important. We may not know what goes behind the scene, but this is one government that takes this to its greatest heights. You see, in a multi-ethnic setting, ethics play a significant role in governance. And therefore, practices must be inclusive, respectful of diversities, and aligned with the principles of justice. That does not mean it rests with the governor. We have talked about the number of people we have in the State Assembly. Sometimes they claim to be the closest to the grassroots. We have them at the National Assembly, but we have also highlighted their challenge and difficulties. Somebody who is manning just 2 local governments, another person is having 4. Now, justice and equity demands that they are viewed differently. If you ask somebody to move from Ganglamja perhaps to Tuli or somewhere in Lego Koma area, It's not easy. And we must contextualize whatever it is that we are doing with respect to what we have seen about the existential reality of our landmass, multiplicity of our people, the culture, the diversity. If you are to take 10 Muslims and give them 10 different positions, you will have differences, sorry to say, even between Izala. They will say, this one is from Jos, this one is from Kaduna. They will tell you Al-Nada has not been represented, and there will be fights. So you see, there is a limit. And I want to propose something about that. There is a limit to how much representation in the name of justice and fairness can go. But above all, we must have tolerance and respect. If we are a little patient, we will understand the context, we will appreciate the dynamics, and then we will know the platform under which we should be talking. On the fringes of all this, yes, the challenges to leadership and governance are normally, and especially in our climate, accentuated by the exploitation of ethnic and religious diversity, values and politics of identity. These are normally anchored on, one, we need social cohesion. Managing and fostering social cohesion among different ethnic groups is absolutely necessary. And it is not the role of the governor to play certain roles at the local level. Because from the ward, if you move to the local government, there are leadership, there is a councillor, there's a local government chairman. We'll come to those areas and we must be bold about them so that we don't overburden the center. As we are talking about dissolution of powers from the central government to the states and local governments, we need to think very boldly about these issues. You know, allocation of resource and representation, infrastructure, social services, whether for health, for education, electricity, and all whatnot. These are things that must be gradual, and decision-making processes must be all inclusive. The more it is, the more people will come to terms with the realities on ground. Security and conflict resolution. The controller of this thing must, yes. People exploit fault lines unnecessarily. The differences are over amplified, and all areas of unity are being torn asunder in the name of politics. And indeed, that is from the negative side of the prism. We shouldn't. Education and awareness is very important. How much of it are we doing? In the face of media and communication, especially as we have it today, just at the click of a button, we destroy so many things. You destroy long-standing relationship. You put one community against the other. We must strive to be responsible and responsive, even if, no matter how you are against the government of the day, the majority within the confines of this state are much more than individual interests and commitments. So, challenges arising from all this must be addressed, and addressed in a way that will give us the latitude to remain as one united entity. Improve local government governance, and to do that, we must raise the bar. This state is full of retired permanent secretaries, directors, technocrats from all over. And you feel local government should remain local and be in the hands of people of less competence and of less commitment to delivery. We are just deceiving ourselves. We must raise up to the challenges of the moment and make sure that local governance is improved, and it must improve on the basis of capacity and competence, and no other way. We must raise awareness and build capacity. So many people are ignorant of things that are going around. In political participation, there might be need to build the capacity of so many of our actors that we anchor on the rudimentary canons of politics and political coexistence. Otherwise, we might not get it where we want. We must ensure equity, fairness, and rule of law, vertically and horizontally. If we do that, perhaps we might nip some of the false imaginations and then encourage partnership and collaboration. There is what is called joint account. Sometimes it is misunderstood to mean state government annexing the resources of local governments, forgetting you have so many things in common. The Basic Education Board coordinates and manages, the state does not have teachers at the primary school level or basic level, so to say. They all belong to the local governments. So also the primary healthcare, the traditional institutions, the training, little form of training that goes on. But we can stop all that if we are able to do number one, improve local governance. The local governments have different trajectory. They have different history. But except for what has been done in the last few years, they are all looking like, local governments that have been run over by insurgents or destructions. Now they are having resemblance of being local governments. Now people may decide to remain with good roads, with electricity, with water. What do you come to Yola for? But to do that, let us raise the bar and get serious-minded people to man those tiers of government. We are not denigrating those that are doing it now, but the call for the stoppage of joint account, the call for must be anchored on capacity building at the local level. Don't worry, we are coming to an end. I am thanking you most sincerely. But if you don't understand me, this could be the reason. Thank you very much.
I am sure we can do better for the erudite Professor Abdullahi Liman Tukur, a teacher, a mentor, a role model, a man who has been there, seen that, done that, and more. For this thought-provoking, this very incisive, very educative lecture that I'm sure will form a talking point as we move on and as we go forward. The issues do not stop here and do not stop right now. They have only raised more talking points that we will continue to talk about until we see the desired and necessary changes. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, please once more, let's put our hands together and appreciate Professor Abdullahi Liman Tukur. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
This is Adamawa State, the land of beauty. Inhabiting this land is a population of vibrant and energetic people who daily struggle with the elements and yearn to harness the abundant natural resources that the area is gifted with for development. Since its creation in 1991, Adamawa State has been governed by both military and civilian administrations with varying degrees of success. But the state will have it. A new and indelible chapter in the efforts to develop and transform the state was opened on May 29, 2019, with the swearing in of Adamawa Fintiri, a focused, purposeful, visionary, and charismatic leader.
I, Right Honorable Umaru Ahmad Fintiri,
since assuming office on May 29, 2019, Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri has made it his mantra that there must be a difference in governance. First, he ran with an 11-point agenda. Due to the enormity of work at the time, he took over the reins of governance. The highly calculated governor has been very deliberate about getting the best for the state, and this has indeed changed narratives from May 2019 to today. The transformation which has been
Father for him as he comes.
Your Excellencies, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished fellow Adamawa citizens, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great joy that I've been chosen to come and amongst those to make this post-lecture from our August lecturer. And all I need to say is to encapsulate whatever has happened here in a few Latin maxims, meaning res ipto loquito. Res ipto loquito. Whatever was it that we saw and we heard from the lecturer, we saw it by ourselves. We've seen it and we heard it. The Fintiri administration is unprecedented. Having been part of the government for the past 5 years, it didn't come to me as a surprise. Rather, it was a rehearse of what His Excellency had in mind, and we have seen it replicated on ground. But if, as an observer and from an insight, if I would give a summary and also pick in particular where I know His Excellency has made a very big mark is in education. We may not see it now, but I am assuring you that in the next 5 to 10 years, you would see the fruits of what His Excellency has planted as far as education is concerned. Because there is nothing you can give a nation other than education. Once you teach these children, you train them and you put them on the right track, then, I mean, is it the maintenance of the infrastructure that won't take place? Definitely. Is it the agriculture that you have already put on ground too that should be encouraged to be extended? Whatever facet, you will make sure that you are training leaders of tomorrow who will come and take over, and if not do better than what this generation has done. So I take pride in saying kudos to His Excellency, Right Honorable Ahmadu Fintiri, for taking Adamawa to this height. We are proud. When you drive into the state capital, you can walk with your shoulder high that this is a state that you welcome your friends from outside to come and see what your state governor has done. And hence, I will use this opportunity to wish him well and to wish him God's continuous wisdom to be able to pilot this state to the end of his tenure. And at the end, hand over to an able one again that can continue. Because if you look at what is happening in Akwa Ibom State, is leadership by example, and also when you see subsequent leaders coming to also replicate the plans that the governors have set up, there will be no stopping. It will be commissioning after commissioning. And if it is the education, you see the schools still going on without any being left behind. So I wish Adamawa State citizens, I congratulate you on this 5th anniversary of His Excellency, and I wish us well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Learned Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Res iptolo quito, for those who probably will not know, simply states that the facts speaks for themselves. The facts speaks for themselves, and through the documentary, that is what Prof was saying. And now again, another man who had been there through the period, who had been there, who had seen it all, who had been part of the team that brought about this great and transformation at Adamawa State. Ladies and gentlemen, the immediate past secretary to the state government, Malam Bashiru Ahmad. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, the guest lecturer, Mr. Chairman, Royal Fathers, permit me to stand on the already elaborate established protocol. Leader, you're putting me in a very difficult position to speak after 2 professors and also facing another one as a deputy governor. But I stand here to really express my joy for having been a pupil and, as the guest lecturer mentioned, a quintessential politician who is the governor of this state for the past 5 years, in the person of His Excellency Umaru Fintiri. For those of us who have been in it, working with this gentleman is tough. Because if you are to succeed, you have to move at his pace. And his pace, no matter how fast you move, is always very fast. So one is not surprised to see all the successes reeled out either through the documentary, and I must thank the Chief of Staff for leading the team that produced it, because it's all encompassing, very comprehensive. It talks the story 5 years. And I must say that just speaker again have anybody taking over after Umaru Fintiri, I pity him. And I mean this in all ramifications, because it's scarce and the demands are enormous. For anybody to be able to, I would urge His Excellency that before he leaves the saddle, let there be a working document that anybody or all those coming after him can actually walk through. And that document should be all-encompassing. We should be able to have a forum where we'll bring all our good heads to sit together and bring out a strategic development plan that we all agree on as a roadmap to developing this state for the next, if you like, 20, 30 years, so that successive governments can actually walk through, because it is a document that has already been agreed by all our politicians, elites, traditional rulers, and even the general public. With this, I congratulate His Excellency and his team for driving the state in the right trajectory. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Malam Bashiru Ahmad, immediate past secretary to the state government of Adamawa State, a true son, a good one for that matter, of Adamawa State. And now it is with profound honor and tremendous respect that I welcome His Royal Majesty, Common Dr. Daniel Shaga Ismaila of CON, the Hamapachama, to also come on behalf of the Royal Fathers and bring a few remarks in this event. Your Royal Majesty. Thank you, sir.
Your Excellencies, here present, distinguished guests, royal fathers, and the media. I was just telling the MC that in things like this, they should hint people. They shouldn't take people. They shouldn't take people by surprise. I heard when Bashir complained that two professors spoke before him. So he was already scared of standing on this place to speak because he cannot meet up to what they said. And maybe because he was not prepared to say anything. But this is a special day, and we are gathered here, like I said yesterday, for a good purpose. A good purpose is to celebrate something that is good. It's to celebrate and to put in the minds of people that all these things that are being done, they are not being done by accident. They are being done by plans and by programs. My experience, or our experience as traditional rulers with Fintiri, is quite interesting, because one important thing with the governor is that he has a listening ear. Another important thing with the governor is that no matter how much you provoke him, he will not react.
It became one huge construction site with mixers, excavators, and caterpillars all over the place as the contractors tried to meet deadlines. Adamawa's biggest city, Yola, began to look truly cosmopolitan as the first flyover in the northeast Nigeria was inaugurated. And just months later, a second flyover was concluded all in his first 2 years in office. Fintiri says Adamawa's poverty is really the stimulus to creative thinking and the architecture of its potential greatness and riches being driven by its government. For the records, Adamawa State over the years has been largely civil service driven and still is. However, The new thinking of the administration is to ensure value reorientation in almost all sectors and encourage a private sector-driven economy. Internally generated revenue is one area where government has been pragmatic. At the time Fintiri assumed office as governor, internally generated revenue of the state was a little over 2 billion naira, a scenario best described as poor. But within months, the governor's policies witnessed significant changes. While Adamawa's current monthly IGR figures are a far cry from those posted by Nigeria's oil-rich states, Adamawa's IGR growth rate is improving and ranking quite favorably well among her peers across the country. This is one area the state has continued to improve under Governor Fintiri's leadership. Working from the place of knowledge that a huge percentage of the people are poor, government decided to focus not just on agriculture, which is the mainstay of its economy, but also on wealth creation through its economic empowerment program, championed by the Poverty Alleviation and Wealth Creation Agency in collaboration with the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. The state is also working towards developing a technology-based industry and also improving security reliability in the state. This government seems almost in a hurry to develop the state, as he is currently remodeling the Jamaica shopping complex. This particular move is another testament to his yearnings to quickly reposition the complex, which has a market, which is a key player in the sale, repairs, and maintenance service for a wide range of gadgets in information communication technology, and by extension, the state's tech drive. The government's grand ICT plan, which, when fully implemented, will ensure ICT-based governance, operate in the state and engage in training and knowledge foundation, which will greatly benefit the people. Governor Fintiri believes there is nothing that says poverty is destined. Hence, he moves and works with the intention of purposeful results. How exactly is he able to work with a multifaceted approach? Well, his approach is part of the strategy that is grinding out results. Some of his key targets include peace and security. It is widely said that the primary responsibility of government is the provision of security. This is one area where the governor has continued to record great strides. Governor Fintiri's government was deliberate in addressing the needs of areas ravaged by insurgency with laudable post-war programs. These post-insurgency programs and projects facilitated the quick healing of the war scars, such that the government restored basic infrastructure and local economies of affected communities largely returned to their peaceful and productive pre-insurgency status. Areas like Madagali, and Mubi all witnessed large-scale infrastructure restoration, which paved way for the massive return of those who left in the wake of the Boko Haram occupation. The government also engaged in a quick rehabilitation of agricultural lands, places of worship, health centers, bridges, and schools, including the creation of productive employment for the teeming unemployed citizens, especially young people and women. Fintiri's development has captured in his new 8-point agenda covers both urban and rural renewal. This has set the security architecture for the state. In the most urban area like Yola, the governor continues to work hard to ensure
that has been said about the excellent works of our governor, my junior brother, Adamawa Fintiri. People will wonder why I, being a member of the opposition, would be here. I've always said this. Once an election, a cycle of election comes and goes, people must face governance. you can wait for another cycle to test your popularity and try to aim to get what you want. But after elections, I'll continue to agitate that Adamawa belongs to all parties. God has given a leader. For now, you like it, you don't like it, Fintiri is God's choice. We'll do ourselves so good if we support him by giving him honest advice, by praying for him. That is the roadmap to stabilizing politics in Adamawa State and to the future of our dear state. Having said that, I would say that, as very well articulated by the guest speaker, if you look at section 14, 2B of the Constitution, governments are established to secure and promote the welfare of citizens. That's why governments exist. That's the reason d'etat for the establishment of any government, federal or state level. And I dare say, if you take these two aspects of security and welfare of the people, you can break welfare into education, agriculture, health, and all that. You must give this young brother of mine a part of the bar. He has done well. And like Professor Jerry Ghana will do, continue to do well. That is my take. But I am troubled with what the guest speaker showed us here about the environment. Human beings have distorted the earth that God created in perfect unison. Today, the ozone layer is completely depleted. In the next 2 decades, Nigeria will hit 430 million people. The land we have is not expanding. It is degrading. For the first time this year, I'm told that here in Yola, we have hit 48 degrees Celsius. Where do you think we are heading to? Right now, I think we are on the fringes of hell because of the heat here. And the only way to reverse this thing is to do one and only one thing: to stem the tide of environmental degradation and do what the governor has set out to do in terms of securing our environment, planting the needed trees so that the hydrogeological and geohydrological equibalance will still come back. On this note, I thank you all. In rounding up, I say, even though I belong to APC, I've continued to tell the governor, cross over to Macedonia where I belong. God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Former Deputy Governor, former Governor, former member of the Federal House of Representatives, former member of the prestigious Oputa Panel Truth Commission. We're so honored to have you. We're so grateful. One of the outstanding, remarkable achievements of His Excellency Barrister Bala James Guillory, and we must mention, was his ability at the time he served to roll back the encroaching invasion of the Boko Haram menace. When he stopped and rolled them back at that time, Your Excellency, we continue to pay glowing tribute and honor to you on that. Your Excellencies, distinguished invited guests, Royal Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, and now I'd like to invite someone we all are pleased and happy to always have. She was former executive chairman of the Adamawa State Universal Basic Education, where she served meritoriously, became Honorable Commissioner of Education, and rose to become the Vice Chancellor of the Adamawa State University, a teacher of teachers, a mother par excellence, an accomplished academic, a professor of repute. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, the number 2 citizen of Adamawa State, Professor Alitapwa Chief Farauta. Please put your hands together for her.
Thank you, sirs. Please take your seat. Thank you very much. The Speaker, House of Assembly, and your colleagues, our former governor, our elder brother, Barrister James Clary, the Senator, our royal fathers, the guest speaker for today, my elder brother, our father, Baba Haldu, all our stakeholders. Please permit me to stand on the well and elaborate established protocol. You know, like my elder brother said, in the classroom, we don't do protocols. So a lot of times as teachers, we're very poor at protocols. Please pardon me for that. I stand in on behalf of our principal, the Executive Governor of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, whom for reasons we know that today he has to be in Abuja for the burial of our own brother. And that loss is not just to the nation, but the loss is also particular to Adamawa State because he's an illustrious son of Adamawa State. And this is his speech. So when I say I mean Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri. Thank you and God bless you. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you all to this significant lecture on the quintessence of politics, organized to mark the first anniversary of my second term in office. Your presence here today is a testament to your commitment to the advancement of political discourse and governance in our beloved state. As we gather to reflect on the fundamental principles that underpin our political system, we are reminded of the profound impact that thoughtful, ethical, and effective politics can have on the lives of our citizens. Politics at its core is not merely about the wielding of power, but about the pursuit of the common good, the promotion of justice, and the creation of opportunities for all. During this past year, we have strived to uphold these values, ensuring that our policies and initiatives reflect the aspirations and needs of our people. From improving healthcare and education to fostering economic growth and ensuring security, our efforts have been guided by the belief that good governance is a collaborative endeavor rooted in transparency, accountability, and inclusivity. Today's lecture provides us with an opportunity to delve deeper into the essence of politics, exploring its theoretical foundations and practical applications. It is a chance to engage with new ideas, challenge our assumptions, and reaffirm our commitment to serving the people with integrity and dedication. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished speaker, whose insights and expertise will undoubtedly enrich our understanding and inspire us to continue striving for excellence in our political endeavors as we go home with this food for thought. Once again, I welcome you all and thank you for your participation. Let us make the most of this occasion to learn, reflect, and renew our shared commitment to the betterment of Adamawa State. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you so very much indeed. Excellencies, Royal Highnesses, Mr. Speaker, distinguished invited guests, you may be seated, please. We will now, as we get ready to bring this meeting to a close, this anniversary public lecture to a close, let me again invite the man who brought the team that put all this together, the Chief of Staff to His Excellency, the Executive Governor. Please put your hands together for Dr. Edgar Amos Sunday as he brings the vote of thanks.
Your Excellencies, Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished invited guests, on behalf of the government and the Governor of Adamawa State, I once again stand to say thank you very much for your role, diverse roles in making this anniversary lecture a success. We've been offered food for thought. I believe we've digested. I hope we will assimilate and get the energy that comes from the lecture. Thank you very much and God bless you.
And thank you very much, the Chief of Staff. Let me, on behalf of the government and people of Adamawa State, again remind us that there will be dinner. Okay, sir. There will be dinner in this very hall later this evening, the anniversary dinner, and dinner starts at 7 o'clock. His Excellency will be joining us. We are expected to be seated at 6:30. Dinner starts at 7 o'clock. Some of these events are covered live on television, and timing is key because of the coverage. So we start the dinner, and again, do not forget tomorrow, the commissioning of the flyover and grade interchange will be carried out. And so I thank you very much. Immediately after the national anthem, the Chief of Staff has asked that Her Excellency will have a few photographs on the balcony, on the stage of the platform before we take our leave. May I now humbly ask Your Excellency, Royal Highnesses, that we rise for the national anthem. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We will now have the photograph, and this brings our program to a close. We have come to the end of the anniversary public lecture organized by the Adamawa State government. Thank you very much.
Dissected by river valleys of Benin, Gongola, the Epsilon, and Stederal rivulets. This is Adamawa State, the land of beauty. Inhabiting this land is a population of vibrant and energetic people who daily struggle with the elements and yearn to harness the abundant natural resources that the area is gifted with for development. Since its creation in 1991, Adamawa State has been governed by both the military and civilian administrations with varying degrees of success. but the state will have it. A new and indelible chapter in the efforts to develop and transform the state was opened on May 29, 2019, with the swearing in of Adamawa Fintiri, a focused, purposeful, visionary, and charismatic leader.
I, Right Honorable Adamawa Fintiri,
since assuming office on May 29, 2019, Governor Adamawa Fintiri has made it his mantra that there must be a difference in governance. First, he ran with an 11-point agenda. Due to the enormity of work at the time, he took over the reins of governance. The highly calculated governor has been very deliberate about getting the best for the state, and these has indeed changed narratives from May 2019 to today. The transformation which has been replicated all over the state followed Governor Fintiri's promise to ensure no one is left behind and nothing is left untouched. Shortly after, the entire state became one huge construction site with mixers, excavators, and caterpillars all over the place as the contractors tried to meet deadlines. Adamawa's biggest city, Yola, began to look truly cosmopolitan as the first flyover in the northeast Nigeria was inaugurated, and just months later, a second flyover was concluded all in his first 2 years in office. Fintiri says Adamawa's poverty is really the stimulus to creative thinking and the architecture of its potential greatness and riches being driven by his government. For the records, Adamawa State over the years has been largely civil service driven and still is. However, the new thinking of the administration is to ensure value reorientation in almost all sectors and encourage a private sector driven economy. Internally generated revenue is one area where government has been pragmatic. At the time Adamawa Fintiri assumed office as governor, internally generated revenue of the state was a little over 2 billion naira. A scenario best described as poor. But within months, the governor's policies witnessed significant changes. While Adamawa's current monthly IGR figures are a far cry from those posted by Nigeria's all rich states, Adamawa's IGR growth rate is improving and ranking quite favorably well among her peers across the country. This is one area the state has continued to improve under Governor Fintiri's leadership. Working from the place of knowledge that a huge percentage of the people are poor, government decided to focus not just on agriculture, which is the mainstay of its economy, but also on wealth creation through its economic empowerment program, championed by the Poverty Alleviation and Wealth Creation Agency in collaboration with the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. The state is also working towards developing a technology-based industry and also improving security reliability in the state. This government seems almost in a hurry to develop the state, as he is currently remodeling the Jamaica shopping complex. This particular move is another testament to his yearnings to quickly reposition the complex, which has a market, which is a key player in the sale, repairs, and maintenance service for a wide range of gadgets in information communication technology, and by extension, the state's tech drive. The government's grand ICT plan, which, when fully implemented, will ensure ICT-based governance, operate in the state and engage in training and knowledge foundation, which will greatly benefit the people. Governor Adamawa Fintiri believes there is nothing that says poverty is destined. Hence, he moves and works with the intention of purposeful results. How exactly is he able to work with a multifaceted approach? Well, his approach is part of the strategy that is grinding out results. Some of his key targets include peace and security. It is widely said that the primary responsibility of government is the provision of security. This is one area where the governor has continued to record great strides. Governor Fintiri's government was deliberate in addressing the needs of areas ravaged by insurgency with laudable post-war programs. These post-insurgency programs and projects facilitated the quick healing of the war scars, such that the government restored basic infrastructure and local economies of affected communities largely returned to their peaceful and productive pre-insurgency status. Areas like Madagali, Michigan, and Mubi all witnessed large-scale infrastructure restoration, which paved way for the massive return of those who left in the wake of the Boko Haram occupation. The government also engaged in a quick rehabilitation of agricultural lands, places of worship, health centers, bridges, and schools, including the creation of productive employment for the teeming unemployed citizens, especially young people and women. Fintiri's development as captured in his new 8-point agenda covers both urban and rural renewal. This has set the security architecture for the state. In the most urban area like Yola, the governor continues to work hard to ensure that the Sheila Boys threat is totally neutralized. At the very highest level, the governor demonstrated his policy of inclusivity. Having run his first term with his deputy, Chief Crowley said, when the time came to run for a second term, he told the bold path of women inclusion. This is in spite of the risks, as he named a female candidate as his running mate. In the end, he won the 2023 elections, and his choice of a running mate, an accomplished academic and former vice chancellor of the State University, Professor Kalejapa George Farauta, has been a masterstroke. Together, they are driving the state to new realms. The governor's appointments, policies, and programs all reflect his ideology of inclusion.
Our state is a state that is so endowed with human capital. But one reason or the other, particularly trivial issues, religion and tribe, dominated appointments, dominated performance, and there was so much rumblings, no unity, there was insecurity. But this gentleman came with the idea, came with one mind, and made good appointments, and came up with a lot of policies that today Adamawa is, to me, is the most developed state in the entire northeastern states.
And in the area of social justice, he is unequaled, where every citizen of Adamawa State have come to have a sense of belonging. Nobody can try today to say he or she is marginalized, and no group can say his or her group has been marginalized. He has succeeded to bring Adamawa State together into one big family.
Education is one area where the governor's massive investment has paid off, ranking first in northern Nigeria and second nationally in the neighbor exams to the free education program. The state has become an example for honesty for even at tertiary level. The government pays for several of our indigents who are on scholarships outside Nigeria. Indeed, education is key to his administration.
Governor Fintiri came and further uplifted, the educational performance to a much higher level than he met it. As such, we now have Adamawa students virtually, fulfilling the spaces in the State University in the Federal University. And some of them who have come from well-to-do parents, even gaining admissions into, like the American University of Nigeria. So I think he has done very, very well as far as education is concerned, and I hope he will continue to do much better than he has done till the end of his administration.
Since he came on board, for instance, in the area of general education, he has built and has recruited more than 2,000 teachers, built many schools, equipped them with the necessary things that will make them functional, provided for teachers that will make teaching and learning for the students meaningful.
That means massive investment in the health sector. Adamawa is among the top 5 states in Nigeria in new enrollments for child spacing. This is not a surprise, as Adamawa is committed to contributing its quota in changing Nigeria's negative ranking as the country with the highest maternal mortality rate worldwide and about 20% of the global total. The State Primary Healthcare Development Agency and the state's implementing partners are working assiduously on child spacing campaign to reverse this trend. Massive upgrades have been carried out for cottage hospitals, primary healthcare centers, hospitals, and tertiary health facilities to meet current needs.
And when you look at the health sector, it is only during this regime that the entire 21 local government have what they call medical center in the local government, and the entire 206 wards has a clinics that are operational 24/7. So this is the first time in the state, and that's why anywhere I go, I always boast of saying that in my state, no ward is left without a clinic that operates for 24/7.
And real infrastructure, especially roads, electricity, housing, and water are also being given priority.
He's addressing education. He's addressing infrastructure. These are important issues, but nobody will ever forget. Somebody told me they will ever see the kind of infrastructure you would I will not be able to get there yet. But I understand the infrastructure in Uganda was something to come and see.
He happens to be a young woman who has vision and who has passion for his state to develop. Politically, he has tried very well, and administratively, he has done very well. He has done quite a lot in the area of both capital and human development in Adamawa State, which we all witness. I'm not the only one. Every Adamawa State citizen know that Fintiri has done quite a lot in the area, especially in the area of infrastructure.
Governor Ahmadu Fintiri has surprised many people, some especially with the elder statement, and by coming up, focusing on the actual needs of development of Adamawa State. He started by, first of all, looking at the infrastructure. Because without infrastructure, no meaningful economic development will take place. And he has taken this straight, and he has now transformed Adamawa into a state where the infrastructure is no longer a problem.
The Adamawa State is very, very lucky to have Alhaji Ahmad Umar Fintiri as the governor of Adamawa State.
in the course of the last 5 years, because everybody can see the development strides he has brought to bear in the affairs of Adamawa State, infrastructure, human capital development, health. Every sector of our society has been touched by him.
In his first term, the governor embarked on key road projects. These include the 25-kilometer Baza Road in Michigan, the Michigan Township Road, the 8.8-kilometer Samsri Road in Ganye. Others include Hong Township Roads, Jada Township Roads, Newman Township Roads, Bullock Township Roads, while much more road projects are started around the state, even the capital city, Yola, getting several new roads.
There is no local government that has not been able to undertake or implement some infrastructural development. That opens up, rural areas, promotes, commerce, and the rest. But not just somebody by age or just somebody, nothing. Most of this. I'm also in the best. How much money? The government was there. What do you do? What they call today, I shouldn't have any money. I said, look, I want to be the government of Adamawa. It's nice. But those are people who will want to associate a part of the development of this country. We can continue to live like a bush capital. Let's have modernity. Let's encourage meaningful development that if people come, what is our capital? It's beautiful. To the extent that if you go to other places, you will not say, how I wish we have this in Adamawa. Let it be that you say, oh, this is not like what we have. I like that. And he has demonstrated that very well. I congratulate him very much for that, regardless of what people say.
But Fintiri has done wonderfully well, simply because the continuation. This is why some governors are having problems. Whenever they take over, they don't tend to see the importance of continuing whatever the past administration has been doing. One of the reasons why I respect Governor Fintiri is because almost all what I have started that I could not complete, Fintiri has completed it.
The state's economy is predicated on the increased transformation of the agricultural value chain through large-scale agricultural production and agri-based industrial production. The state government's agricultural policy targets empowering farmers through agri-financing, provision of farm inputs such as fertilizer and improved seeds and implements. Because of the importance of civil servants in the implementation of government policies, the Fintiri administration has been labor-friendly. Adamawa state government set the tone with its payment of a minimum wage higher than what the federal government said. Adamawa pays 32,000 naira. This figure is 2,000 naira higher than that of the federal government. A policy demonstrating the state government's commitment to its people. Also, in the wake of the petrol subsidy removal, the state government implemented a shock-absorbing program for its workforce, awarding wages. It also extended a STEM gesture to core members deployed to Adamawa State, who have also been benefiting from a monthly 10,000 naira wage award as part of its palliative. In the transport sector, 10 luxurious buses were purchased and deployed to various routes, and this has brought a lot of relief, as the cost of transportation has skyrocketed. A recent fire incident damaged the Yola market in April 2024. But rather than blame predecessors for not providing a befitting market, since the same market had been banned in times past, Governor Fintiri took a bad situation and is creating a story out of it. The Yola market is now on the radar. It is being remodeled with right facilities that are not easily burned. Tree planting campaigns are part of the governor's deliberate move to maintain the required ecological balance. Furthermore, the state also banned felling of trees or use of charcoal. This is one deliberate policy of protecting the environment and our climate. The passage of the Media Workers Bill in Adamawa State is a testament to the state's commitment to the welfare of its journalists. This bill also improves greatly the pay for the media workers. Additionally, the state also partners several media outlets by way of retailership, forging a strong synergy with the fourth estate of the realm. Government also constructively engages the media in publicizing its activities. While it is agreed that separation of powers is key in a democracy, intentional development requires a great deal of synergy. Adamawa executive power enjoys good working relations with the legislature as well as the judiciary. The Fintiri phenomenon, as some analysts describe it, has come as a redemption for the people of Adamawa State.
For the influence of the people of Adamawa, the ethnic communities, very Muslim, very Christian, they don't even believe in the religion together. For the interest of all of you, when Adamawas, they use states, and I can tell you that's where he's heading to.
The exceptional developmental strides, strategies, and project execution are still unfolding. Just as work on other landmark projects are going on, the unrelenting governor has flagged off the construction of a 7-span overhead bridge along Yola ALR Junction, half Cloverleaf Interchange at Yola Numero. Still not done, as no sector will be left out. The sports-loving governor has similarly flagged up the reconstruction of the Adamawa State International Sports Complex along Newman Road. The project, which has been neglected by various administrations, is being revived by the Fintiri administration due to its significance to youth development and other socio-economic benefits. As many prominent citizens of Adamawa State and even non-indigents have continued to say, the era of the Fintiri administration is not only awe-inspiring, but will remain indelible in the history of the state. It therefore behoves on all people of goodwill to support it and play their part individually and collectively to get to the promised land.